Welcome to Project Jackson, Project, A Cautionary Tale, Volume 3. If you're here and you haven't reviewed Volume 1 and 2, that's okay. You can review these independently. They don't have to be in order. I think they flow better in order, but welcome anyway. And we subtitled this, Looking for Blight in All the Wrong Places. I don't want to get into too much detail on the law. I have presented it here, the highlights of it, and the purpose of it. We talked about it in Volume 1 about why the TIF law was enacted here and in 48 other states. But I think it's important to remember why the law was there, the purpose of it. It's kind of nice to understand what's the underlying theory. And I highlighted there, and this is straight out of the law, and you're welcome to Google it. Just Google South Carolina, put Title 31, Chapter 6, South Carolina law. You'll get it. Not that hard. You want Section 20 if you want to look at it. And when they pass the law, sometimes the legislature puts in the reasons. It's not always the case, but in this one they did. And they outlined what was going on in South Carolina when they passed the law a while back. Back in the 80s, I think, was when they passed it. Been a while. And they made findings like, we're spent a lot of public dollars on some of this blighted property. There's no public or private investment because it's such a rundown tract of land. You can't market it, you can't sell it. You got crime growing. You got substandard housing conditions, and all these conditions come together. Use a term of art, a perfect storm of just rot and decay. And so they said, and that threatens the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the public. That's a common phrase in the law. They love to throw that out there. That you use that phrase to exercise what's called police power, which is what's exercise. Now you can look a little further in the law. I look under Section 80, sub A, sub 7, but it says for the city to go forward under the TIF law, they must make the following findings of fact. They got to look at the redevelopment project area where they're going to do this. They got to determine that it's blighted. Once they determine it's blighted, and if you go to the statute, you find a whole bunch of definitions. There's not enough water, and there's not enough communication systems. It's not platted right. The ownership is mixed up, like you have trailers next to factories next to it. It's just, you'll get all that. You're welcome to go review it. And then they ought to make a finding that property values are going to remain static or decline unless they do something. They got to act to eliminate this blight. And after they get through that step, then they got to find it. You know what? We looked around. Boy, we just couldn't find anybody who's interested in developing that land. Nothing's going to alleviate these horrible conditions. They want to take that. This is what the city of North. It's almost laughable if it wasn't so sad. Probably the most valuable land, undeveloped land in North Augusta, the most valuable. It's on a river, and they want to call it blighted. Why? They don't want the voters to have a say. They want to call up their colleagues at the school board, county council, all get together, huddle. This is too tough for the voters. No, we don't want them to have a say. Pool our money because we got to stomp out this blight. Okay, so this is a graph. You should be looking at a graph now. And how do you determine if something's blighted? One thing you can do is look at land value. Usually, remember, it's not marketable. Remember, that's one of the criteria that the legislature said, or the predicate they used. But you can't even sell this. Probably couldn't even give it away. So, all right, that's some reflection. It's not the total, but some. And you can do this on your own. Go out and just Google large tracts of land in Aiken County for sale. There's websites out there. Mainly, I would look at the ones that sell land mainly, not mixture of, like, I wouldn't use Maybaum or Calhoun. There's some others that sell tracts. But you're welcome to use Maybaum, and I'm not against it. But you quickly get to the database when you just go to. Anyway, we looked up parcels of land, tracts of land between 20 and 30 acres. Because Projac is going to sit on 25 acres, we thought that was reasonably captured the universe of potential properties for sale throughout Aiken County. And then we graphed it. We just took them right off the web page. This is the offer for sale. Most people buy it for less, but let's just take the offering price. Let's say we're just going to win, pay the guy what he wants. And then you convert what they want on that 20 to 30 acres and the cost per acre. And we've indicated there along the graph of various places throughout Aiken County where these tracts are located that we found. And we didn't trim it down, whatever. I mean, there might have been one or two that were like, it didn't seem right. They were horse buildings or barns or something on it, and we just wanted a tract of land with nothing on it. There's a Windsor and Sally, Wagner, Jackson, Aiken. There's even a tract of land in North Augusta there. And they draw the far right blue bar is the average. And we just drew a line across, you can see how it compares the line. The properties compare, and the average is about, let's say your argument is going to be $5,000 an acre. That's the average price per acre on tracts of land that are for sale in Aiken County. Now let's go to Projac. That's that far right yellow bar. It's about 25 acres. It was sold back in 2007 from the city. They sold it to the current developer at Hammond's Ferry for $436,000. It was currently the Aiken County assessor assessed it about right at $460,000. Look at that. It values at, let's round it up like we did the other one, about $18,000 an acre. It's more than three times as valuable as the average tract of land in Aiken County. And remember, city, county, school board, oh yeah, it's blighted. We got to stomp that out. Just look at the graph. Go research it on your own. Remember, we talked about how the property should be decreasing in value. That's a necessary condition for finding of blight. Well, here's that 25 acres that they want to develop into Projac. And this is from the assessor's website. You're welcome to go look at it, Aiken County Assessor. You can see where the city sold it to the Riverfront Company, which is one of those LLCs that belongs to Leyland, which is the developer at Hammond's Ferry, just right next door. Sold it for about $436,000. And then the assessor went back, and in 2012, he does most properties in the county, and he's assessed it now at $460,000. So it's gone up $23,000 in value from 2007, 2012. It's an increase of about 6.7%. It's gone up. It hasn't gone down. That's right, up. The criteria of the law is the property stays flat in value or is going down. And we just can't sell it to anybody. It is unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. This is just to give you an idea. This is, again, data from the Aiken County Assessor's website. And most of that is just parcel number, who owns it, whatever. The current appraised value, again, right at $460,000. Here's what's important, though. This is what really, here's one house that's going to be 730 feet from the tip of that arrow is pointing where the stadium's going to be. The blighted area. The blighted area. The economic development that baseball teams never bring. There's a house there, and you got the corner of that little picture of that house is right on the lot that it sits on. So 730 feet away is a house that was appraised by the assessor at $900,000, almost $1 million. Sits on the river. It's a pretty house. That's the blight we're trying to stamp out. That's the economic development we're bringing. Isn't that sweet? Wonderful. This is on the flip side. That house I showed you earlier, on the earlier slide, was on the other side of that bridge. You see, that's a 13th Street bridge you see out there in the distance. This is a house, this is that Hammond's Ferry development. That's a west, and all that wooded area, and you see the brick ponds on the left. We're going to chop all those down, put in stadiums and the hotels and parking garages. Oh, we're going to do it up fine. Anyway, you see a house there in Hammond's Ferry, and it's going to be 1,000 feet away from the blighted area. Or it is 1,000 feet from the blighted area. It sold in 2008. You can get this on the assessor's website. It's not a secret. That's a picture. That's the actual picture of it sitting on that slide. For over $1 million. Boy, I bet they're glad that they're stomping out that blight down there. All right, that's basically a quick discussion on blight and how it's being perverted, how we use the law to try to get our way. So for God forbid we ever go to the voters and ask them, should we pay for a stadium? What do y'all think? We talked about the blight predicate, what precondition is going to happen before you use the TIF statute. We talked about the comparable values of tracts of land, the graph. The land is more than 3 times as valuable. How the property's actually increased in value, hasn't gone down in value. We showed you the adjoining properties, both houses that are real close to the blight area, over $1 million. By the way, it's interesting. You'll hear them talk about the Fort Wayne project. They use the same developer. It's almost laughable how properties have gone up. If you look around at Fort Wayne, by the way, my family lives 45 minutes from Fort Wayne. I've been to Fort Wayne, done a lot in Fort Wayne. It's a Rust Belt area. It used to be the old automotive area. Manufacturing was up there, and they fell on hard times. It's not as bad as Detroit, but it's a Rust Belt. And the houses around there that they built the stadium in, they're typical Midwestern houses. They were worth maybe $50,000. Yeah, they probably did increase the value. You could have been in a pigsty and increased the value of most of those houses in downtown Fort Wayne. I doubt they're going to increase the value of $1 million house. That could be wrong. We'll see. And you can see that it's not even close to blighted. Great. And this is a call to action. If after you've viewed this slide presentation, and we think we've demonstrated to you why this is a bad idea, because it just doesn't make any sense on any level. You need to call these county council members, and you need to tell them that they should say no to corporate welfare, no to the TIF. Tell them that these minor league baseball stadiums are net negative. We can develop this place smarter. Just use the original plan. And furthermore, anything this controversial ought to go to the voters. There's their numbers. They don't bite. They're politicians. They like to hear from their constituents. Let them know that you saw this on Facebook and you don't like it. You don't like what they're about to do.